In this video, I'll go over the electronic Creating Your Budget form and show you how to use this form in developing a balanced budget. This Excel workbook includes two spreadsheets. First, we have the monthly spending plan, which you'll use to create your budget. Second, we have the spending guidelines. You'll use these to determine how much you should spend in each area of your budget. Several years ago, a study was done to determine how successful individuals and families manage their money. Different types of people were surveyed: singles, married couples, and families with children, each at different income levels. The survey revealed that each one of these individuals or families were able to manage their income in such a way that they were able to meet all their needs and save for the future. It also revealed what percent of their income they were spending in each category of their budget. By using this information, the surveyors developed these spending guidelines to help people have a reference for how to successfully manage money at different income levels. These guidelines use the same spending categories we use in the monthly spending plan. They include different family types, from single with a roommate up to a family of 6, with varying income levels for each family type. As you use these guidelines, choose which family type and income level closest describes you. Let's begin by going over the monthly spending plan form, and you'll see how the spending guidelines fit into building your own balanced budget. The first column lists all the budget categories and subcategories. In the second column, titled Actual from Register, you will enter the total net income and total expenses from your 30 days of tracking expenses. If you haven't tracked all your income and expenses for the past 30 days, you will need to do so before attempting to build your budget. You can download the form and watch a brief tutorial on how to use it by going to stewardship.gatewaypeople.com. I will now enter all the amounts in my budget example. As I enter these amounts, the percent of each main category is calculated and entered in the percent of net income column. In this example, food represents 11.5% of the $3,900 net income. Please note that in the categories that contain subcategories, I enter only the subcategory amounts, and the total category amount is entered for me. After entering all income and expenses, I see that there's a $423.25 difference between the income and expenses shown here. Also, the percent of income being spent is 111%, meaning I'm overspending by 11% each month. Now that I have a snapshot of the difference between my income and spending, I'll use the spending guideline to create my balanced budget. I will use the married couple with $50,000 income as my guideline, since it's the closest income to my example. I'll need to do this manually by entering each category percent here in the guideline percent column. When I enter the percent from the guideline, the form enters the guideline amount for each category. There isn't a suggested percent for child expenses or debt. This is because these categories don't apply to everyone. If you have childcare expenses or debt, you'll need to adjust other categories to allow for these expenses. The next step is to compare the percent of net income, what I'm spending, to the suggested guideline percent. This will help me to identify any categories that I may be overspending in. Once I've compared my expenses to the guideline, it's time for me to develop a balanced budget. In this example, most categories are very close to the suggested guideline. One exception is recreation. It currently shows to be at 15%, a 10% difference from the 5% the guideline suggests. Since I know I'm overspending by $423, I will need to make some cuts. Therefore, I will look at cutting from this area first, since it doesn't represent a basic need like food. If this doesn't balance my budget, then I'll look at other categories and continue reducing my expenses until I have balanced my budget. I'll create my budget by entering all my expenses in the last column titled Budget Amount. Notice at the bottom of this column is my available net income. This is the monthly amount I can spend. As I enter my expenses, this amount will diminish until it reaches 0. In other words, I'm taking all of my income and assigning it to all the categories in my budget. Once I'm done, it will show 0, indicating I've assigned all my income and therefore balanced my budget. I will first enter all the amounts for the categories and subcategories that are in line with the spending guideline. Then I'll look at how much money is left over and allocate those categories next. If creating your own budget requires difficult spending cuts, I suggest you begin by allocating all the expenses that represent your basic needs first, such as your mortgage or rent payment, utilities, food, transportation, savings, and clothing. Next, you should allocate for any debt that is collateralized, such as a home or a car. Then and only then, take a look at what you have left over and fund the rest of the categories. After entering all the amounts in the categories that are close to the suggested spending guideline, you can see that I have $162.25 remaining. However, I haven't put anything in the recreation category because I knew this is where I was going to make my cuts. So let's do that now. I will put $40 toward his and hers subcategories. This is cash money that you can use on whatever you want. I highly recommend having a small amount that you can spend this way, especially when the budget is tight in many areas. It allows you to spend on some of the things you want and enjoy without wrecking your budget. Next, I'll put $25 towards entertainment. This is for events such as going to the movies. And last, I will allocate what I have left over, $57.25, to the vacation fund. And that's it. I've created a balanced budget. Now, if by chance I allocate more or less than my income, it will show up in the next available income cell. For example, if I put $350 in the saving category, it will show that I am over by $100. It is imperative that you assign every dollar you earn, but no more than you earn. Now that I'm done, I'll take my balanced budget represented by these amounts and transfer them to the final form, the yearly budget, which is what I'll use to manage my budget going forward. You can download the yearly budget and watch the tutorial for how to use it by going to stewardship.gatewaypeople.com and look for forms and guides under the resource tab. And while you're there, take advantage of all the resources and the classes we offer. Thanks for watching.